This episode of The Unstarving Musician is powered by liner notes. Learn from the hundreds of musicians and industry professionals I've spoken with for The Unstarving Musician on topics such as marketing, songwriting, touring, sync licensing, and much more. Sign up for liner notes at unstarvingmusician.com. It's an email newsletter from yours truly in which I share some of the best knowledge gems garnered from the many conversations featured on The Unstarving Musician. You'll also be privy to the latest podcast episodes and liner notes subscriber exclusives. Sign up at unstarvingmusician.com. It's free and you can unsubscribe at any time. This is The Unstarving Musician. I'm Rabonzo. This is my podcast. It features conversations with independent music artists and industry pros, and relevant special topic episodes featuring yours truly, all intended to help indie music artists better understand the marketing, business, and creative processes that empower us to do more of what we love, make music. Thanks for joining me for yet another episode. My guest for this one is Wowashwow. Not Wowish, Wowashwow. Is that a great name or what? Real quick, though, we need your support at The Unstarving Musician, and you can support us in many ways. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can tell a friend about the podcast. That would be amazing. Or you can visit unstarvingmusician.com // crowd sponsor. That's unstarvingmusician.com / crowd sponsor. Or the show notes for this episode to learn about the many ways of offering your support, and we appreciate it. All right, I hope everything is fantastic in your world. The weather is beautiful in mine, and things are pretty darn good. At age 6, my guest, Wowashwow, was writing her first original songs, which led to an early sprint as the lead guitarist and singer of a punk rock band. This led to a tour where she opened for the Ramones drummer Marky Ramone and recorded her first album under the direction of punk rock icon Steve Albini. Albini. At age 18, Wowashwow moved to New York City and discovered the underground hip-hop and ballroom scene. This would heavily... Man, I'm having a tough time today, but bear with me. We're going to get through this. This would heavily influence her approach to songwriting, stage performance, and overall lifestyle. She's an activist in the cannabis industry and has been breaking the stigma of cannabis consumption, promoting her vision through music, social media, and popular podcasts, including the OG podcast, Blunt, Blowin' Mama, and now The Unstarving Musician. Now based in Los Angeles, she's opened for Snoop Dogg and Travis Barker. He's a badass. Now they're both pretty cool. She's appeared at the Soul Train Awards in 2022, charted 115 on the Hot 300 List, and has been featured in South by Southwest Pop, Earmilk, Divine Magazine, Shoutout Atlanta, Artist on the Rise, Upcoming 100, Rap Fiesta, and on Dash Radio 4, we found new music. In this conversation, we talk about the origins of the name Wowashwow, humor in her music, her latest single, Class Enrollment, and the forthcoming album, The Algorithm, effects of social algorithms on indie music artists, self-improvement through self-competition, transitioning from punk to hip-hop, vulnerability and connecting with her audience, cannabis advocacy, and fashion inspirations, her fashion inspirations. Speaking with her was a delight and a lot of fun. Super nice lady. I'm going to go ahead and genreify her and just say she's most likely the liquid-ecstasy pop-hop queen. Please enjoy my conversation with Wowashwow. I had a silly technical error, all my own fault.
Listen, it happens. No worries.
Well, I'm glad I got you. Okay, so we're already recording just FYI so that I don't have to stress about, did I remember to do that?
Nice. All right. I like it.
All right, let's see if I say it right. Is it Wowashwow?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. I have heard it butchered so many times that you said it right on the money.
Good. I think I heard you say it in a video, and I was pretty close in my guesstimation. I thought it was Wowashwow. It's just a matter of emphasis, though, right?
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be like sort of a ironic thing because sometimes I have moments where it's like, wow, Ash, wow, like that was dope, or you really did that, girl. And then there's like other moments of me where it's just like, wow, Ash, just wow, like what did you do? So that is, where the name came from because it's like either or, either I'm doing something cool or I'm just doing something ridiculous, and everyone's just like, wow, girl, really? So yeah, wow, wow.
I love it. I love it. I thought I'm not going to ask where the name come from. I'm sure she gets it every time. So
Yeah, you know what? I actually don't get it as much as you would think. And so, yeah, I just, offer that unsolicited piece of information about it. But the funny thing is, so when I was first starting as an artist and you used to like put my name in Google, wow, I didn't really have, like that much traction yet. I was just kind of getting like started out. So it was me. And then also there is a Korean washing machine that is also called like the Wow Ash, but like it's the W or the O is like out at the end. So basically there's like a washing machine in Korea that like shared the same name as me. So it was like funny when you like put in the Google search results for me and it's just like a photo of me and then just like a washing machine. And I was like, lit, 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 like, all right, gotta work up from there. Like,
it would be potentially epic if you could get a photo shoot with one of those machines for like some single artwork or something. Yes.
right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? Boom, next album cover. I'm just taking a picture of that washing machine and just putting it right there and just being like, volume one, boom.
Well, you'd have to be in the picture because you're too photogenic to not be in it. But yes, with the machine would be
I
cool.
appreciate that. Maybe like my face pressed like inside the washer or something like that. Like just
Ye-
like poking out, like washing
That's
hose since 1993 or something like that.
oh my gosh. I wasn't thinking of asking you this, but you clearly have a sense of humor. Do you use, well, you clearly use that too on occasion in photography and maybe other things. Do you use it in lyrically, or are you kind of a cut up all the time?
Yeah, no, I love a good punchline in the song. I love when I'm writing something and I'll be working with my producer and he'll tell you that like out of nowhere I'm just writing as the beat's playing and I'm just like, huh. Like, and like, and he's just, and then I'm just like, that's funny. And then like keep writing. So yeah, I love like a good like lyrical wordplay and inside hidden jokes that, I'm like, somebody's gonna get it. And like those who get it, they get it. And if you don't, it's just a clever line. But if you get the joke, boom.
You'll have to keep narrowing down until fewer and fewer people get the inside joke. I'm just kidding. It's too
Exactly.
that would be too Daniel Tosh. You have a new
Uh,
single coming out like in 2
yes.
days, Class Enrollment. Are you excited?
I'm super hyped. It is the very first release of any music for the year, which I'm very excited about. I say it like the year was like very long ago. It's just now February, but yeah, I am very excited about just like the new sound and vibe and direction that like my music and art has taken, and Class Enrollment sort of epitomizes like, okay, this girl's going in like a different direction, and it is fun and it is happy and it's empowering. But there's also, like I said, there's some punchlines in there that, if you get it, you get it. And it's like, ha, clever. I wanted to write a song and a record that just made me feel happy and made me feel good. And hopefully I, in part do the same to anybody that listens to it. Just make them feel happy.
Yeah, nice. I should know this, so forgive me if for not. But is a full album release following this, or is the full album already out?
So there will be a full album release following this. We have Class Enrollment that we're going to release. There's also another single that I'm going to drop in a couple months from now. Well, actually, like a month or so from now, once we put out Class Enrollment and really like push that and like work that single, then it'll be time for the next release. And then after that, we have the full album drop, which is called The Algorithm.
Oh, nice. I saw a social post of you working with the camera crew where you're kind of in like a tube, sort of sci-fi, sort of reminiscent of something I saw you many years ago by Janet Jackson. Is that by chance connected to the next single release or something else you were working on?
So that is actually connected to the overall album cover. So that was the album cover shoot for The Algorithm.
Oh, nice.
And that whole costume and design was created from, it was literally like a dream that I had. And like, shout out to my team. And I'm just like, all right, guys, picture it. Even though no one else but me can see this, like, see it with me. The reason why I'm calling it The Algorithm is that I feel that so much of what I was creating as an artist, and I can't speak for a lot of independent artists, but I just feel that a lot of what we are creating, we're being told needs to be, social media friendly and needs to fit this sort of like guideline so that it can like the algorithm, like you got to make sure that you're doing well in the algorithm so that like
Mm,
you can be supported and push things. And if you don't have these amount of likes and views and everything, then you're not valid as an artist. And it's like there's so many dope people who are going unnoticed and missed just simply because a computer equation has not picked them up yet, essentially, and like shown them in the proper light that they need to be shown. And myself included, I felt like when I was starting to write this second album, I at one time was like, okay, I need to write things that are very like TikTok friendly and like the algorithm. And then there was just a moment where I was just like, but why? Like, like why are you doing that? Like, for what reason? And once I kind of had like that aha moment, it was like, all right, well, it's I'm gonna write music for me again. I'm gonna write music how I'm gonna get back to when I was like 7 years old and like just writing a song for me. Well, because this is how I felt and this is what I wanted to write. And like when I was 13 and just whatever I was going through and those emotions and just those feels and vibes, like just writing for me and not to compete with like basically a set of like zeros and ones when you essentially think about it.
mhm.
So that whole album cover and that whole spaceship represents that. It's the cyborg and like computerized version of me, and essentially I am morphing back into like who I am as just like a person and an artist and like my vibe and energy and stuff like that.
It's really a great thing for you to talk about for the audience that listens to this podcast. This idea of chasing the algorithm can be annoying. And as you were talking, I had a thought that this is the only way that people who help us market know how to market. So that's what they glom on to. And there's some validity to it, of course. But yes, I mean, it speaks to that. We have to wear so many hats and think about so many things as musicians rather than just creating the art, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I've realized from a very, starting as and pushing myself as an independent artist and pushing and pushing to get to the next level of, my goal of like success of what I want, is that it's not just like being creative, but you have to put in the back end work in order for you to get the opportunity to create again. So yes, the marketing is necessary, and putting together like the video treatment is necessary, and like pushing yourself and like marketing it and like putting it out there, and really sort of being very vulnerable to say like, hey, yo, this is me and a collection of my Diddy Bops, and I hope you enjoy them and shake your ass. If can I curse? Well, I just did. So
You're fine.
like I hope you enjoy them, and if not, like also have a pleasant day as well. So yeah, but in order for me to keep going and keep, building just like a creative legacy, so to speak, like yeah, there is definitely a business aspect that is involved. And if you don't do it, you know,
Nobody will hear you.
yeah, that's, like, well, I mean, like friends and family and like,
Right.
you know, your aunt, and
Exactly.
that's and
How
that's
long do you,
cool. Like, yeah.
how long do you feel you've been at the act of being an indie artist as you are now? How long does it feel like you've been at it full blast, full force?
Um, Really full force with like full consistency since 2020.
Okay.
I've been a musician and I've been like playing all my life since I was a little kid, but that was more so I feel like sort of just finding my creativity and finding like my voice and finding my stride of like just who I am as an artist and a musician. But when the pandemic hit, it really gave a chance for me to slow down and think, you know what, I'm going to start creating and like taking a chance on me, and like what happened if I like really, really try and not like sort of kind of try, how like I'll say like I tried, but it's like deep down I knew like I didn't. But like, what if I like really held myself accountable and like kept pushing? And so, yeah, that is back in 2020. And now here we are 3 years later, and I am still being consistent and seeing growth that, I've never would have imagined in my wildest dreams. And I'm blessed for it and blessed to be working with an amazing team of people who are just like, we are rocking with you till the wheels fall off, and just overall blessed.
Great. I love it. This is kind of connected to something you just said a moment ago, but I read, I think on your Instagram, maybe you said something to the effect of you having spent a lot of years trying to better yourself and improve, but being at a new place where you no longer feel the need to compete with yourself. I'm assuming that a lot of people will be able to relate to this, and I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit and talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to, essentially why I wrote this album is I am finally coming into a place in my life where I am accepting me for me, and also still growing and loving the growth and loving the change and loving, just who I am as a person and an artist as well. And being just inspired by the people around me who are living their amazing lives. And yeah, I used to always listen, there's always room for improvement in certain aspects, but I used to be so hard and down on myself and like think that, oh, I'm not good enough to do this, or not yet, not yet. And now I'm at a place where I'm just like, put it out there, girl. Like, put it out there, and like, and be proud of you and be proud of who you are, and, embrace that shit.
Well, you certainly seem like you've reached a point where you have the talent and skill to do that. So thanks for Thanks for sharing that.
I appreciate that. It's been a long time coming.
I want to back up to class enrollment for a moment because it was
Yeah.
something I wanted to ask about, and I got this from your publicist, I believe, but that the song had emerged from, well, or at least was influenced by a stressful uh, text conversation you were having during the recording session. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. It was, oh boy. Um, yeah, it was a text conversation that I was having with a person, and they they just kind of made me feel down about myself, and it was a very just like condescending sort of message, and I was very surprised because this is someone that, I hold in a very like high regard and care about deeply, and to have them be so dismissive and to say the things they said, it really just sort of frustrated me, and I wanted to immediately like my thumbs were itching to like respond. And at that moment I was like, you know what? I'm going to just like read this situation in the song, and like let me tell you like who I am, and like who you're really messing with right now, and like let me just like read you for filth, and like welcome to class enrollment, bitch. Essentially, instead of responding negatively to that text message, I put them on silence and mute and proceeded to write, and then like class enrollment was born.
Good for you. What a great video too. I need to go back and watch it. And I love the artwork. Did you work with part of an existing team, or was there anyone new involved in the artwork and the video? And which I know
I
assume are kind of separate projects, or sort of, but
Yeah, so the video is class enrollment comes out in 2 days, and then the video actually comes out next week. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It is the team that I've been working with. It's Team Voodoo, and I've been working with them since day one. Like all of the music videos and everything that you see, and a lot of the photo shoots. I've been working with this amazing team. Shout out to Mitch and Gary, and just everyone at Team Voodoo, because they have really, it's been fun to watch them grow as a production company as I'm growing as an artist. And we've been putting out some really, really awesome work that like I'm very proud of. And I'm very proud of just this video that we are going to release on Friday. It was beautifully shot, and just it's funny as hell. Like it's just funny, and I wanted to create this time around like something that was very classic and had good storytelling, because I don't know, I feel like a lot of music videos lately, like there's a lot of like flash and neon lights and just like everything's very cool and like abstract, but there's no like story. Um, yeah, I just wanted to do some good old fashioned like storytelling in the music video. We definitely achieved that, and I'm very proud of the work that was created.
I would imagine in some ways, tell me what you think, but that in some ways, perhaps many ways, that putting together a great looking video is a little easier than putting together a video that may have the great looks but also has a great story.
It's very easy to like put together a video that just you can just like go and find places with really cool sets and just like do a whole bunch of cool concepts, but putting together something that looks visually stunning, has a very cinematic feel to it, but then also tells a story, but then does it in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. and has cohesion and, just a very level of like camp and comedy, but it's done well. Um, no, that's not easy at all. Whoops, sorry about that.
Your PR team tells me you kind of got your start as a lead guitarist and singer of a punk rock band, and you for those who
Yeah.
don't know you or maybe are listening to this and haven't heard your music or seen your video yet, you clearly are doing things in the sort of hip hop genre and maybe with a lot of funk influences in there, with other things mixed in too. But can you talk about the transition from which I assume was many years, but can you talk about your transition from perhaps your earliest influences as a performer or aspiring performer to versus where you are today?
Yeah, no, my transition was very fascinating because I went from, when I was between the ages of like 6 and 7, I was going around and performing full gospel concerts at local churches where I grew up. And they were like sold out too. That's essentially like what I did. And then I discovered punk music and I discovered the Nirvana Bleach album. And it was pretty much a wrap after that. I was like, I want to be a lead singer. I want to play and I just want to be in a rock band. I want to rock the hell out and I want to be like Kurt Cobain. And then, fast forward to high school me trying to learn how to play guitar and get everything down. And then eventually, like, I created my own like punk rock band. It was called Rise from Ashes.
Nice.
Yeah, and like my logo was like a phoenix because I'm like, get it? Like rise from ashes, like the phoenix, man. It's dope. Um, but yeah, I really, really loved like playing with that band. And like I grew up in the Philly, South Jersey area, and in South Jersey, like the rock scene, like the emo and like punk rock scene was just like in its heyday when I was a little kid. I remember like sneaking out and riding my bike to like go to these shows and like just watch them rock out. And so that sort of formed my stage presence and like my approach to how I just am overall on stage, because this is, you emulate what you see and you admire. So that's sort of those influences come there. And then, you know, um, moving to New York for college and experiencing like a lot of the underground hip hop that they have there and a lot of the rappers there. And then also like the rappers in Philly as well. Like that really sort of like helped cultivate, like take all that and like throw it in a pot mixed in with like a little bit of Zappa and a little bit of, like Tina Turner and stuff and like Janis Joplin, just throw all these people in a pot and shake it up. That is sort of what has molded me as an artist and like who I am and stuff like that.
Wow, that's quite potpourri of influences that you're channeling.
Right? Right? It's all over the place. That's why everyone's like, I don't know how to classify you. I'm like, cool, I don't even know how to classify myself. I'm just, it's very funny on the Spotify playlist. Like sometimes I'll see my music and it'll be in one section, then they move it in another section, then they move it into another section. I'm just like, you don't even know Spotify, and I'm here for that.
You should just keep making up your own genres.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, eventually it's gonna just be, this is the wow genre. Like we don't know how to classify it, so we just throw it here. Like,
Exactly. So you have had a lot of things going on for you in the past couple of years. You've opened for some big names, which I'll mention in the intro of your episode, and you've appeared on the Soul. You appeared on the Soul Train Awards. You've charted. You've had many features, some great interviews. In the past couple of years, what has or what have been your favorite memories, at least today?
Hmm. Favorite memories. Probably every single time that I'm on set shooting a music video. I have the even though it's long hours, it's usually like anywhere between a 10 to 16 hour shoot day, maybe like 2 to 3 days in concession. But there's just we have a lot of fun, and if you haven't told, I'm kind of a goofball. So, we get the work done, but there's just a lot of fun that is had on set and like goofing around and just, like everyone that I work with, even though I have a core set of team, there's always extras or dancers or just anyone. And like, they all feel a part of like a little mini family by the time that we get done. So I really, really enjoy like those moments. And just also lately, I've been, one of my favorite moments actually just recently happened. So I was playing this show maybe about 3 weeks ago, and like an independent artist, like when you're putting your songs out there, like, you know how like just nobody's singing along, okay? Like the only one singing along in the crowd is like your mom, like, because no one knows who you are yet. And so my last album that I released, like it's gotten some traction, and like, people really like took to it quite well, and especially this one song called Heat Wave. And I was getting ready to play it. And as I am starting, I hear some people in the audience like say like the opening speech part of what I was saying, like to the T, like better than me, because half the time I forget what I say in the opening speech part. But like they were saying it, and I was like, that, wait, do people know this? Like, and I'm having this whole moment in my head, and I was like, wait, I said, I'm gonna do the thing where like you sing and then you put the microphone out, and I'm gonna see if they know this song. I was like, but it's gonna be embarrassing, like if nobody says like anything at all. But you know what, like let's just do it. These are all the thoughts I'm having in my head as I'm performing live. Sometimes I'm like, it's weird. Like I'm performing, but I'm also just having like a whole random stream of conscious thought about like just other things like, as I'm flowing. And I'm like, wait, I'm gonna do the microphone thing. So I like put the microphone out, and like as the chorus starts, and I like sing it and then put the microphone out, and then they sing the song, and I literally lost my entire poop. I was just like, holy shit, they're singing along. They actually know the song. Oh my God. So, yeah, that was actually a very, very special moment to me. It's like that sort of connection and moment with the audience for them to know the music and for me to create something that really makes people happy and vibe. And at that same show, someone reached out to me and said, hey, because of you I lost my voice and I threw my back out. And I was like, you're welcome. Like, I was like, so yeah, like those are the moments that like make me the happiest, is the connection with the audience. And like I've done some really cool things, and I've played with some really cool people, and like those things are all cool. But like for me, like the best moments are like the audience connections.
That's amazing. And I wanted to say the name of the album, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to mispronounce it. And I want people to know where Heatwave came from. Can you just say the name of the album?
Yeah, the name of the album is called I'm a Hash Hole.
Okay. That was going to be my guess, but that's
Yeah,
great.
no, it was dead on.
That's great. Where did the, it seems like another play on your name, but how did you
It
come up with that
is.
title?
It definitely is. I'm as you can see, I'm just like a jokester in everything that I do, and there's always like a level of comedy, and because like life's too short to be so serious all the time, and there are other musicians and artists who are very good at that, but that's just, I don't know, I just like making people happy a bit. The hash hole thing comes from, hold on one second. My dog is like, what I'm going to do is keep scratching at this door until you let me out. I don't care that you have a podcast interview. I want
No
to sit
problem.
in the sun. Here you go, Mr. Bernard. Enjoy, sir. Okay. Bye, buddy. Yep, that's all he wanted to do is sit in the sun. So, yeah, I can't wait.
So I was going to say, what a moment of vulnerability when you experience the crowd singing, but you had to take the leap of faith that when you stuck your mic out there, they were going to do something.
Yeah, because, like I said, as an independent, like, listen, okay, we all know like Beyonce can go on stage and like put her mic out and they'll just sing the whole thing in its entirety and like she can just stand there. But when you are like up and coming, you don't, and it's a new venue that you've never played before, you don't really know who's there to like support. And like the most important thing is it was people that were singing along that were, I was like, wait, and it's not my friends, because I love my friends but they don't know the lyrics to my songs. But I was like, wait, these are not like my friends, these are just people who know the song. Oh my God. And you can even like slightly hear it in the video recording because I get very kind of emotional and like my voice cracks a little bit because it sounds like I'm about to cry because I felt like it, and then like immediately get it together and like and do the rest of the show. But yeah, no, I had a whole moment. But before Bernard interrupted, we were talking about the Hash Hole album. I am a very big cannabis advocate, and my nickname back in Philly used to be Hashley. Um, yeah, like, yeah, and in fact, the longest time I was like, "That's gonna be my stage name. I'm Hashley," and people are like, "We like Wowashwow better. We're just gonna call you that." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Uh,
That's too
so
funny.
yeah, no, because I was just like, I'm billing myself as Hashley, Hashley merch, Hashley everything, and people are like, we like that, but we also like Wow better. And I was like, okay, that works for me. But yeah, back in Philly, that was the nickname that people called me. It was Hashley. And so, I just thought it would be funny to be like,
I like
well,
it.
I'm a freaking hash hole.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what's the root of your advocacy for it? I mean, I certainly consumed a lot when I was young and occasionally still do, not that often, but and I know there's a wave of advocacy for therapeutic and medical reasons, but what's the root of your
Yeah.
enthusiasm for it?
It actually started with, so back in when I was living in Philly, I went to this festival and I heard this, actually, the Philly Normal organization speak about just decriminalizing cannabis in the Philadelphia area so that people, who really needed it for medical reasons and treatment reasons and just relief, if they were to purchase it, that they're not just getting penalized for a medicine that they need. From that meeting, there was a veteran who spoke, who was talking about how he suffered from PTSD and was taking, I think, 19 different like medications and was on the verge of just essentially not wanting to live here on this earth anymore. And he was introduced to medical cannabis, and it really, really started to help him. And eventually, bit by bit, he started to come off of the medications, and his wife was there to support him, to just talk about how she really appreciated how the change that she saw in her husband. And she's like, she would have never thought from smoking weed. And then what really got me is hearing the story from these two parents of this little girl who had a very debilitating disease, and essentially they gave her maybe till age 6 to live, but she had lived much longer than that, and it was because a lot of the seizures and everything that she was having, they were subsiding, and she was actually able to function better because her parents were making these THC oil caplets that they were giving to her as like herbal supplements, and they were really, really helping her in just her treatment and her being able to function and do like day-to-day things and not be in so much pain or just have like nonstop seizures throughout the day. These parents were running the risk of losing their child because they were reported by CPS for, essentially drugging their child when this was the only thing that was actually working for them, and they had medical documentation to back it up. So though hearing those stories and like a whole bunch of other compelling ones is what made me say, okay, I want to do my part to like help my area and my city like decriminalize this, because I think it's absolutely a shame that this is a plant. Like, there's the joke that Cat Williams said, you can take a whole bottle of Tylenol and that'll be your last headache ever. Whereas like you can smoke like an entire jar of weed and you are going to sleep and maybe eating up your entire fridge. Or for people that have like medical issues, like it is really, really a help. And there, is now like science to back it now that they're able to start doing research and studies into like medical cannabis and its like effects and everything. That is what really encouraged me to like be a part of it and start working to get it decriminalized, and like making my signs and like marching with big joints in the rain and like doing all of those things. And then they decriminalized it, and then we pushed to get the recreational bill, the medical bill introduced, and they passed it and opened up a dispensary. And by that time, it was like the pandemic happened, and I moved out here to California because my work and the things that I did in the Philly platform and then on social media had started to essentially like gain traction. And so there were like opportunities and things to do things in cannabis and everything out here. And that's what originally pulled me out here. And then I realize that, like this is cool, but like this is not like your passion and what you were called for. Like it's something that I'm very passionate about and always will be, but it's not like I love music and I love creating as much as I love breathing, if that makes any sense. It was time to get back to that. But yeah, that was my whole journey into like cannabis, like advocacy and everything.
I like it. Tell me about the inspiration for your look and performance presentation, because all the photography and videos and artwork I've seen that you're in, you look fabulous. And I just want to know
Thank you.
where you gather, who are your influences, or what sort of drives you to be the person that you are, like on stage or in your videos and photo shoots.
My influences in terms of like style is all over the place. Definitely, I am obsessed with like the 1950s, like old Hollywood glam era. But then like mix in a little bit of like 70s like disco with 90s appeal to it. Like a lot of those eras I love in terms of fashion, and I've always just been obsessed with fashion. What I call like just fascinating, like things that make me go, whoa, crazy. And then I've been lucky to work with a designer. His name is Troy C. Ford, and the bigger I dream, he's just there sketching it. and then adding on his twist and his flair. And, he completely gets me and gets on the weird ideas and rocks folk with them. And I appreciate that so much. Most of the things that you see in the videos, the music videos, and the photo shoots have been all custom made by Troy, who is I call him, because he's the costume designer and like just to a lot of like very well-known drag queens. His stuff's been in Vogue. It's pretty much half of the TV show RuPaul's Drag Race. Those queens are wearing things that he's like custom made. And so I have a very in real life, I'm very chill and laid back, but there's just something that happens when I like step on stage or get in front of a video camera that like my personality essentially becomes larger than life. Like I too turn into a drag queen, and so
Love
he
it.
he gets that, and he is able to rock with me with like whatever idea I have.
Oh, he's doing a great job. Is there anything in the business of music or anything about music actually that you have in recent months or recent years changed your mind about? Something you may have started out thinking about it one way and now think about it another, perhaps because your eyes got open to something that you just weren't aware of or some other reason?
I think when it comes to like my approach of my flow and like who I am as an artist, for the most part, there were times where, especially when I was working on my flow and my delivery as a rap artist, I thought that, there can't be any singing and I can't do anything that's sort of like rock and roll flair. I just really sort of like silenced like who I was as an artist and musician because I thought that that was what I had to do. I thought I gotta come hard as shit. And it's just like, no, like I can have my own approach and my own style and my own vibe and flow. And, if I start to flow into a dope verse that flows into some very like beautiful harmonies, like why not? Like I could do that. like why not do the things that you know how to do and that you've been crafting for like years? So that is probably like one of the most recent things in terms of just like music wise that I've stopped limiting myself so much and like putting myself into like a genre box of what I should and should not be doing.
That's good, and may you forever be able to hold on to that that spirit. So, lest I forget to do it in the proper introduction that I'll do for the intro of the episode, I want to mention that people can find out about all the things to do at wowashwow.com, and I tried to say that phonetically, but I will put a link in the show notes for this episode. And man, I wish you all the best on the new single and the forthcoming album, and I guess another single to precede that album. It was really great talking with you.
It was great chatting with you as well, and I appreciate it. Hope that this is not the last, but one of many chats in the future. And yeah, thanks for taking the time with me.
If you do not yet have a website for your music, check out Bandzoogle. It was created to help musicians and bands build their website and manage direct-to-fan marketing and sales. Bandzoogle features amazing design options, a commission-free store to sell merch, music, tickets, and you get detailed fan data. And there's more. Try it free at bandzoogle.com. Use the promo code ROBONZO, that's ROBONZO, to get 15% off your first year. You've been listening to The Unstarving Musician with Robonzo. That's me. Please follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find links and mentions for this episode at unstarvingmusician.com. Thanks again for listening. Peace, gratitude, and a whole lot of love.